Give me some of your time, and I will not fix you. I will erase your weakness. I won't do it with fleeting motivation or the hollow inspiration that clutters your social media feed. I will do it by forcing you to see what you've been calling weakness for what it truly is, an illusion. It is a narrative you inherited, a system of sophisticated lies you've repeated to yourself so relentlessly that you've mistaken them for your unchangeable personality. But they are not you. And if you are willing to truly listen, if you have the courage to sit through the profound discomfort as Nietzsche speaks to the parts of you that you have locked away in shadow, then something inside you is about to shatter. What will rise from those ashes will not be a better version of you. It will be the original version, the one that was always there, buried deep beneath the rubble of your weakness, waiting patiently for the exact moment you decided to stop protecting it and finally unleash it. Let's be brutally clear. Nietzsche had no interest in comforting the weak. He did not write his words to soothe the fragile, to placate the perpetually sensitive, or to offer a safe space for the endlessly anxious. His philosophy is a hammer, intended for those who are ready to stare into the violent, chaotic abyss of life with their eyes wide open. It is for those who have grown weary of the exhausting performance of lying to themselves. It is for those who have had the terrifying and liberating realization that nothing and no one is coming to their rescue, and have therefore decided finally to stop waiting. If you have reached that point, if you are sick to death of the fear, the passivity, the endless apologies for your own existence, and the emotional inflation that has softened you into a ghost, then this is your true beginning. This is not a transformation, it is a return. Strength was never a destination you had to reach. It was your origin point. It has simply been buried under suffocating layers of self-doubt, societal conditioning that demanded your obedience, and a crippling addiction to comfort. So let's begin with the most fundamental question. What does it truly mean to be weak? The masses will tell you weakness is crying too much, or being physically small, or lacking the discipline to wake up early. That is a convenient, superficial lie. Nietzsche would grab you by the shoulders and tell you the truth. Weakness isn't the expression of emotion. Weakness is the submission of your will to your emotions. Weakness is needing permission to act, to speak, to become. Weakness is outsourcing your sense of self-worth to people who don't even understand themselves, hoping they will grant you the validation you refuse to grant yourself. Weakness is deliberately choosing a comfortable peace over a difficult truth. Weakness is lying about what you truly desire just to avoid a moment of judgment. Weakness is the modern trick of calling your laziness self-care, your cowardice, humility, and your deep-seated insecurity, empathy. Mark this well. Weakness is not the absence of strength. It is the active, daily presence of self-betrayal. And here's the brutal truth. The modern world is engineered to make you weak. Your education trained you to obey, not to question. Your culture trained you to conform, not to stand out. Your media feeds you a constant diet of helplessness disguised as awareness. Even the people who claim to love you, many of them unknowingly benefit from your softness, your silence, your hesitation. So they encourage it. They praise your selflessness, they reward your passivity, they applaud your restraint, not because it is good for you, but because it keeps you small, predictable, dependent, and worst of all, forgettable. Nietzsche saw this with blinding clarity. He saw the way society relentlessly molds you into a tame, domesticated version of your true self. And he said, the individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. He didn't mean a physical struggle. He meant a psychological war. The struggle to stay true to your own instincts when the world demands you neuter them. The struggle to remain dangerous, not violent, not chaotic, but dangerous in a world that desperately wants you polite, polished, and obedient. Therefore, the first real step in erasing your weakness is to understand that you have been expertly trained to mistake weakness for goodness. You have been taught to believe that saying no is rude, that asserting your boundaries is selfish, that choosing yourself is narcissism. But Nietzsche flips that entire script. He argues that real strength, the kind that makes you magnetic, respected, and remembered, is born from the ruthless rejection of mass thinking. It's the rejection of guaranteed safety and the rejection of the desperate need to be liked. So let me ask you, and I want an honest answer in the silence of your own mind. Who are you without the need to be liked? Not hypothetically. Right now. Strip away your filters. Stop editing your thoughts before they are spoken. If no one on this earth needed you to be nice, agreeable, humble, or passive, who would you be? What would you say? What would you demand? What and who would you finally walk away from? Most people cannot answer that question because they have built their entire identity on the reactions and feedback of others. They don't have a self. They have a mask, a persona, carefully sculpted to fit in and survive. Nietzsche saw this as the death of the human spirit. Because the moment you stop being dangerous, the moment you begin filtering your truth to fit a system, you have already surrendered your power. But you feel that already, don't you? That quiet, simmering resentment? That deep fatigue that no amount of sleep can cure? That is not burnout. That is the cost of weakness. It is the price you pay for living in a way that silences your deeper instincts just to keep the surface of your life smooth. So here's what Nietzsche would tell you right now. You were not born to be soft. You were not born to be tolerant of everything. You were not born to fold every time someone raises an eyebrow in your direction. You were born to embody something sharper, something primal, not chaotic, but unshakable, not reckless, but untouchable. The reason you feel weak is that you have denied that essential part of you for so long. You have almost started to believe it never existed. But it did. It does. We are going to dig it out right now. Let's start with your habits, because weakness lives in your daily routine. In the subtle rituals that slowly rot your willpower, while convincing you that you're doing fine. Nietzsche said, "He who cannot obey himself will be commanded." You wake up and the first thing you do is check your phone. You've already lost the day. Not because phones are inherently evil, but because you did not claim the day for yourself, you surrendered it to an algorithm. You scroll, you compare, you react, you envy, and then you rationalize it as harmless. But every time you react before you create, you weaken the muscle of your sovereignty. You become emotionally flabby. You lose your edge. You lose command. Next, weakness shows up in your words. In how you water down your opinions to make others comfortable. How you speak softly so they won't feel threatened. How you say, "I don't know," when you absolutely do know. How you apologize for things that require no apology. With every hesitant word, you are leaking power, and they can feel it. That is why they don't listen to you. That is why they talk over you. That is why they will always underestimate you. Nietzsche didn't whisper, he wrote with fire. He expected you to speak with the same clarity. Not to be loud, but to be clear. Clarity is force. Clarity makes people pause. It makes them lean in. If your presence doesn't do that yet, you have work to do. Stop hiding. Own your opinions. Say them, clean and uncut. Let the silence that follows your words carry weight. Most people are terrified of silence. You will not be. Because silence means tension, and tension is the space where respect is earned. Now, let us kill something else. Your victimhood. Nietzsche despised the modern tendency to glorify suffering. He saw it as a psychological trap. When you make your pain your personality, you become addicted to weakness. You become loyal to your struggle. You find your identity in it. But here is the unbreakable truth. No one truly cares what happened to you. They care what you become despite it. If all you became was bitter, anxious, and fragile, then you let your past win. So you will rewrite your story. Don't say, "I am a trauma survivor." Say, "I am a builder forged in fire." Don't say, "I was a victim." Say, "I learned how to become untouchable." Words are spells. Speak power or stay silent. Nietzsche said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." But here is the secret he left for you to discover. Your why is not found. It is not a treasure you dig for. It is a sword you forge. It is chosen. You don't wait for purpose to reveal itself. You decide what it is. You carve it into the fabric of your days. The moment you do, weakness begins to dissolve. Because when you have a direction, distractions die. Drama fades. Doubt becomes nothing more than noise. Decide, right now, who do you serve? What do you build? What will you protect? What will you not tolerate for one more day? Make it real, make it written, and make it non-negotiable. This is the point of no return. You cannot unhear this. Cannot go back to being the version of you who made excuses, who delayed, who broke promises to himself, because now you know better. And when you know better, you either evolve or you live as a liar. So choose. Become the man Nietzsche would respect. It's not the loudest, not the richest, not the most praised, but the most real. The one who looks in the mirror and sees no hesitation, only presence. This is your standard now. Guard it like your life depends on it, because it does.